Welcome back, listeners, for the second part of our review of I almost said Starformers. Transformers Rise of the Beast. It's pretty late. We're recording this after the end of the full review that took well over 2 hours. We hope that you enjoy the rest of the review. You got anything to say about the rest of this episode?
We have some good podcasting content.
Yeah, it kind of devolves into this Rachel recording or describing most of the movie and me not having much to say, but it gets better at the end.
We don't get as slap happy as we did with the 1986 film that we watched.
Unfortunately. I hope you enjoy. We'll drop you right back into it. While it's not necessarily executed in the most interesting way, this movie, unlike other movies, or even most versions of this character that I know of at least, they give Optimus Prime a growth arc. This is a proper prequel in that this is a burned out Optimus Prime who doesn't know much about humans and doesn't have really any reason to really care about them. In this movie, I mean, pretty much once a character starts saying such strong opinions at the beginning of a film, you know, okay, they're going to change their opinion by the end of the film. So they're setting up that this movie will show why he cares about humans. Unless, what would have been really funny if they pulled the typical modern franchise thing where they don't resolve something in the movie. It would be kind of funny if the movie ended with him still hating humans and they save that for a sequel to this movie. That would have been pretty funny.
So they're kind of arguing back and forth, like, how are we supposed to? And so it's revealed that they've all seen the beam in the sky. Well, it turns out, supposedly humans can't see it. It's this big, bright yellow beam, this beacon, and only Transformers can see it. And so Noah's like,
But this is resolved within the next 10 to 15 minutes. So
Yeah.
I feel like they make a big, like, typically, the main reason you have something established and then a character repeated a few minutes later is because it's really important to the movie. This whole thing is resolved in not much time at all. But they really emphasize that humans can't see this thing. Barely important to the movie. Really irrelevant. It would have made more sense to, like...
movie literacy at an all-time low.
You could have, like, legitimately just, like, had it be, like, this wave of energy, and the Autobots sensed it, and they know where it came from. You didn't need this whole beam thing. It took a lot of time out of the movie.
It's hard to see in the dark. So they're trying to figure out what do we do with Noah, and I think Mirage has the idea that they recruit him to go get the part of the key because it's in the university, and no one's really a fan of that idea except Mirage. Mirage somehow convinces them to let Noah help them, and then has to convince Noah. And part of that deal was Mirage was like, I'll let you sell me, and I'll disappear. It'll be like nothing ever happened.
Mirage, after the car chase, is weirdly, like, buddy
Fond
with
of Noah.
And he's like, we make a good team. Noah did literally nothing. He just was screaming inside Mirage the whole car chase. I don't know if Mirage is so friend-starved that he just would talk to the first person, but, like...
No one else wants to talk to him.
Like, this made me think... Like, this whole movie made me think, like, nothing they're doing is necessarily that bad, but it made me understand why other movies do more annoying things. Like, while it is very annoying that most stories like this have two characters hate each other at the beginning and they become friends, at least that's something.
Mirage probably heard how great, I can't remember her name from the first movie.
Megan Fox's character?
No, from the Bumblebee 2018.
Oh, yeah. She's the voice of Gwen Stacy in Spider-Verse.
Probably heard how nice she was from Bumblebee and was like, I need one of them.
I need a human companion.
I need a human companion.
Yeah. So it's like there's not... I guess the whole point is that Ben becomes that Noah is the one who learns to be friends with Mirage, but Mirage, like I said, Optimus Prime has a character arc.
There's a trend,
but Mirage doesn't.
There's a trend of looking out for your own.
Yes,
throughout the
that's
first
a good point.
2/3 of the film.
Mirage just needs something, and he doesn't really have anything. He's a decently enjoyable character. I think his pop culture references are way more miss than hit. But there's something.
You can only have one Transformer that makes pop culture references. And you got 3 options. If it's the live action, it's Bumblebee just through the radio. If it's any other iteration, it's Jazz.
Very good.
Which, side tangent, I'm still mad that they didn't put Jazz in this. We could have had Jazz, but I do find it interesting because when the first movie came out, Porsche was like, we don't want our cars associated with war. And it's like, hey, Porsche, let's look at your sales in the 1930s. Anyways.
Are you additionally mad that Mirage is the same colors
as
Jazz? And if you just change the name and cast a black actor as Mirage.
This close to greatness. Anyways. I cannot tell you the roller coaster of emotions I was on when I saw the first trailer and the reveal, because I was like, it's my boy, and then it was Pete Davidson. Anyways, whatever. It could have been worse. We could have gotten Pete Davidson Jazz, and I would have been upset. Anyways, so Noah agrees because he needs the money. So he goes to sneak into the university, and Elena's still there. It's dead of night. He sneaks in and he's caught by Elena. They kind of do a little chase around the table because he's like, I need that thing, the transwarp key. She's like, I can't let you have that. She calls for security. And so at this moment, Scourge and the other Terracons have arrived on Earth because they have also sensed the transwarp key or whatever, its activation. So they show up. And right as security gets there, shoot the building and just obliterate this poor security guard who's probably 2 days away from retirement. So thus starts a chase scene, survival of necessity moment between Elena and Noah as Scourge sends these weird little spider things to chase him down and get the key.
Yeah, this human stuff is not interesting to me. It's not bad. There's not a lot in this movie that is like really horrible or terrible. There's stuff that's not great.
It did feel drawn out.
Good. That's a way to describe it. It's like this early in the movie. I know. Okay, there's always this like contrast or tension between how much do you play on if a character's going to die. We know the characters aren't going to die, so that's not necessarily what the film is going for. But like, tension can still be felt, and that would obviously be the point of such a scene where you have humans fighting a robot that they can't beat is tension. There's never, I felt not for a single second, any tension. Yeah,
there's a chase scene through the museum. Kind of broke my heart because they're destroying everything, and I was like, oh no. So they destroy everything. They finally get out, and the other Autobots have arrived. They're duking it out with Scourge and the others. Optimus gets his butt kicked by Scourge.
Yeah.
And like, I was really kind of like, and so
pretty much it's a big fight. Bumblebee gets the life sucked out of him. He pretty much sacrificed himself.
Dies trying to save Optimus, and Scourge kills him. And just like this poorly timed phrase because Scourge gets the key. I swear, I don't know who approved this dialogue, but Optimus says, "This cannot be." You remember that? We were like,
I think the biggest issue ongoing in this movie with the dialogue, other than the unnecessary pop culture references, is the dialogue is often too simple.
Yeah.
It like felt like there needs to be a filter from the writer's brain to the screen of, okay, this is what I'm trying to convey, and here's how this character would say it. He doesn't have that filter. He's like, okay, I want Optimus Prime to say, "This cannot be. This cannot be." Like, there's never... The writers of this movie rarely write in the character's voice.
Writer's room.
It felt like bare bones. Just like
it really did.
Bare bones dialogue. It was really unfortunate because it gave the actors nothing to work with.
Yeah. No chewing of the scenery. Gumming the scenery. But we do have an interesting appearance. Air Razor herself.
In one of the cooler moments in the movie, this is also a nitpick, she has this incredible like laser beam that she can shoot out of her beak that's devastating, and she never uses it on anyone. She only ever uses it to like disrupt battles.
Yeah.
And it's possible that maybe that's a character choice, that she's like less directly confrontational, more defensive.
Maybe.
That would match her character. But it is kind of annoying that she seemingly has the most powerful weapon on the battlefield and doesn't use it to just kill Scourge.
Yeah, so she saves them really from
She
killed.
she creates a big division of fire between the Autobots and Terracons.
The cops show up, everyone escapes. They regroup.
And they now have our other female human character.
Elena. Yes,
Elena is now with
Elena
them.
and Noah escape with the Autobots.
You have added a new character to your party.
New character. So kind of not a great moment for any of them. A lot just happened. Airazor is explaining what happened. And they're like, well, and the Autobots want the key so they can go home to Cybertron. We should probably.
And
Scourge wants the
got
key.
away with what they thought was the whole key.
Yes,
and what is the bird's name again?
Airazor.
Airazor reveals that they split it in two.
Yes.
But she doesn't know where it is.
Yeah, she doesn't even know if there are any other Maximals left.
Yeah.
So they kind of get the little exposition. Elena kind of showcases some of her knowledge. She's like, I knew it was older than what, So there's kind of like this tense moment. What do we do now? Noah has a really cold line. I think to Optimus, because they're trying to figure out what to do next. And he's like, I'm not trusting someone who couldn't protect his own. And I was like, why would you say that?
Bold.
Why would you say that? It's too soon.
And that line leads into my next problem, because that, while very cold, makes a lot of sense. Like, most logically, if you're a normal person in this situation, there is not much motivation for you to go along with this mission, to travel with them. They had figured out they have to go somewhere to South America. Was it Peru? Really,
the only motivation that they have, and this is what really I think Airazor, one of them, uses to get them to come with, is that we need your help because your planet will probably die. And so we have this interesting division starting here because the Autobots want to go back home. Noah wants to destroy the key because he's like, no key, no Unicron. It works out. Everyone wins.
And he's right.
He's right.
He's totally right. Because the only issue with destroying the key is it stops the Autobots on this planet from getting back to Cybertron.
In the beginning was the cube and the transwarp key, but we don't talk about that yet.
And yes, Cybertron probably needs these heroes, but it won't, that war has been raging for 8 million years, Optimus.
It's rough.
Are you, and the rest of the movie, they keep using this dialogue of, I won't sacrifice my planet for your planet. I won't I want to save my planet. We can save both planets. The entire universe is at stake. It is so much bigger than either of these planets. If you wanted to make it about sacrificing one planet for the other, that's great. I like that concept. But they established firmly that the entire universe is at stake. This is not about just Earth or just...
This is every planet.
And similarly, one of my favorite movies of the last few years is Mission Impossible Fallout, which has an incredible running line in it about how the main character, Ethan Hunt, refuses to sacrifice one person for everyone. He is convinced he can save every single person, and that's also kind of a Superman thing. It's like Superman, there's very little tension with Superman. Superman himself is not going to die. The tension with Superman is, can he save everyone? That's always an interesting concept. How many people can you save? So yeah, the idea of we can both save the universe and both of our planets without having to sacrifice one is fine. But spoilers, they destroy the key at the end of the movie.
Technically, they do save both planets.
And again, Optimus has to go through this growth thing in the movie of learning to love Earth and love the humans, but the movie is constantly contradicting itself, I guess. Its moral through line is really unclear and ultimately annoying. Yeah. It's really annoying when you have a character, your main character is right. Theoretically, standard screenwriting. Obviously, I love movies that play around with expectations, play around with storyline. You should not be doing that in a Transformers film. Transformers films, narratively, should probably stick with the basics. Your main character should be the one who's wrong. So that he can learn a lesson.
Yeah.
He's right. He should destroy the key. Or Don't have the humans be the main characters. We spend, 30 minutes with these humans at the beginning of the movie without any Transformers at all?
Well, and we go back really after this scene, after they're convinced to go to Peru to have a conversation with Noah and Chris, because Noah's like, I gotta go. And Mirage is dumb and is not subtle at all.
Yeah.
And like reveals himself to Chris. We get the infamous Bay line.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
We didn't talk about that. But anyways.
There's a sexual joke that's totally
yeah,
unnecessary.
it's like, ooh. Anyways. So
one more thing I wanted to finish on that thought before we move on.
I was just going to say, Chris makes Mirage promise to bring Noah back or he's going to get him.
Chris being Noah's younger brother. Yeah. Similarly, in the previous scene where our two human leads decide to go with Autobots, I'm just not convinced that a normal person would jump into such a thing right away. I think the immediate reaction of most people would be, let's get some more people who have better authority or have better credentials to go globetrotting and going, like someone with some authority. And I understand there's you can explain that maybe both these characters would not trust authority to handle this properly. And also, the previous Transformers films show that you can't trust the government because they just want to dissect and study the Transformers. But these characters don't know that. And I think the issue is you have to get to that conclusion, you have to extrapolate. The movie doesn't give you any hint as to why they wouldn't just go find someone. There's good reason. I think the best one probably being time frame. They don't have enough time to try. Okay, there's these robots and they're fighting and there's good ones, there's bad ones, and we need to help the good ones. Like there's not enough time for that. I understand that as a viewer, but the characters don't even discuss it at all. Additionally, what I realized is, while it's the original 2007 Transformers film is not great, what it does is it takes a normal person like Sam Witwicky and he is forced into it.
Are you username ladiesman217?
Sector 8 kidnaps him and he is forced into the battle.
Is it Sector 8 or Sector 9?
Oh, one of those two. The government agency that Agent Simmons works for. Another performance.
Such a good character.
This movie is missing performances from actors like John Turturro, who is one of our best living comedic actors. There's no memorable standout human performances in this movie like that. Like Sam's parents. Like good old Tyrese. Like people who are not necessarily incredible actors, don't have great writing, but they're memorable and they're fun and they match the cartoony energy. By the third act, Sam is already in the battle. He doesn't have a choice and he chooses to be a hero. And I think that works. By that point in the movie, I believe that Sam would do that. Not a great character.
I do feel like... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I do just that in comparison to Noah's. He doesn't work well in teams thing that he obviously learns, to, kind of thing. I was like, I remember when they said that, I was like, oh, this is the character growth.
Yeah, him deciding to go on this journey in the first act, I think it's just misplaced. That character growth needs to be pushed down the line. And again, I'm not asking for super complex storylines. My preference would be to throw out the human characters or don't make them so important.
Movie on Cybertron, which apparently we're probably getting next year with the animated one.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's with Chris Hemsworth. I'll be beefing about this for the next year.
Great. Phenomenal. Strap in, viewers.
We're adding it to the bit list.
I'm making this go on too long. I'm just I see a good movie in here. I guess that's why I'm frustrated. As I see the pieces, they just should have rearranged them just slightly differently, and it could have been a good movie. I don't want to take out all my frustration on modern screenwriting with this particular film, because I do think it's fun. I do think it is more lovingly crafted than the Bayformers films. This movie is enjoyable and has likable characters. That is what it has in contrast to the Bay films, is while these characters aren't super memorable, they are decent human beings. And the Transformers themselves are not annoying. They're not racist or sexist or anything like that. The Hispanic one's a little racist, I think, but not horribly. Not like the twins in Revenge of the Fallen. Nonetheless, let's continue on with our plot summary.
So they decide to go to Peru. Elena is all for it. She's like, let's go. We need to save the Earth. She hopped into that real fast. So they go to they meet up the next day. And so a fourth Autobot at this fifth joins the team, Stratosphere. Big boy plane.
Yes.
And so that is how they're going to get to Peru. And so we have a very long flight of a discussion between Elena and Noah, talking about her dad and her motivation to do good things because of him. And honestly, kind of long. I just thought it was really funny because every time the camera turned to Elena, there's this, the background is out of focus because she's in the focus, her and Noah. You just see Optimus in the background looming. Like, you know what? He's just in the back of the plane, just there.
He's just sitting there. And in my head, earlier in the film, I think it was.
Mirage shows up immediately and makes a Wu-Tang reference.
That's what I was getting at, is when they get to the meeting, Mirage transforms and goes, Wu-Tang in the house, or something like that. And when Optimus was just sitting there staring out he's literally staring out the window when they're in the airplane.
He tells him he says very subtle, Mirage, just very on it.
I love the thought that Optimus Prime is sitting there thinking, what is Wu-Tang?
He's also sitting next to Bumblebee's dead body. Did you notice that?
Yes, I forgot.
Cameron, if I die, do not cart my body around.
We're going to Peru. We're getting some energon.
I am not. Cremate me.
I'm going to break into a church for you and steal a key, and then I don't know.
And resurrect me. Spoilers. I mean, we're going to get to it. But
I'm going to get you one of those sick Peruvian hats. I love those hats.
Really cool hats. What would she think? I'm pointing to Athena.
She would think, who's going to feed me? Aww. Anyways, what happens next?
So they get to Peru. And so, okay, we talked about this earlier. This is the first film that's been allowed to film on Machu Picchu. Like, ever. They got a blessing from a shaman, and their rule was you can't step on the rocks, which the Autobots did not follow, but whatever.
Not only do they step on it, they destroy them.
They did. So they show up to Peru, and we meet Wheeljack, who looks a lot different from the other iterations.
He's like a VW van.
Bus, and he's an interesting character design.
And it's a drawn-out interaction between him and
Noah speaking Spanish.
Because
it's almost similar to Across the Spider-Verse when Miles meets Miguel. And Miles tries to speak Spanish to Miguel.
Oh, I don't remember that. That's interesting.
It's right when they...
What I was Miguel's thinking of is so Noah is questioning why what Wheeljack has a Hispanic accent, and Wheeljack is like really confused, like, what are you talking about? I don't have an accent. It feels like a much more drawn out and lamer version of when Jazz shows up in Transformers 2007. He talks kind of street, and Sam says, how does he know how to talk like that? And Optimus goes, the World Wide Web. And it's over. And they move on. And they just move on. Like, it's not a great joke, but it's short and it's to the point.
The internet. Wait, did that exist at this point? Which part of the 90s is this?
94, it's very early stages.
They don't have good internet yet.
Dial up.
They're using all the dial-up. That's why the internet sucks.
I guess that really encapsulates this film, at least the human bit. It's drawn out. I think that word you used is really great. It's not necessarily bad. It's just long. Yeah.
So they meet up with Wheeljack, who I've seen. Basically, I think the fandom split on whether they love the new design or hate it. So anyways, they're like, okay, so we need to find the other half of the key. And so they're using Elena's knowledge because she's been writing down all the symbols that she's been seeing in her notes. And so what they're looking for is what's going to be old enough that would have this. And so they deduce there's a church that was built over at an old, it would be an Incan temple since they're in Peru. So there's also a festival going on. So the Autobots are like, okay, we'll wait. Go find the rest of the key. We'll be here if you need anything. Just sitting there listening to their tunes. And so Elena and Noah go down, blend in with the parade that's going on.
Which is totally irrelevant to the movie, but still fun nonetheless because it's real. Mm-hmm. Don't know why it's really in the movie, but heck, it's a fun little, like, if you're going to go globetrotting in a movie, show the local culture.
Yep.
It's a fun little scene.
Yep. So they break into the church. Because the church is like normally closed, I guess, during this, but they break into it actually rather easily. So they go to a
Yes.
courtyard and they're like, we need to find something ancient. And the camera pans down to in some form of very large circular, almost dial sort of thing. And there are like circles within it that are maximal symbol faces. And so Elena realizes they need to match up the symbols and rotate the stones, which they do. The ground drops in. Very Indiana Jones at this moment.
They say that in the movie.
I forgot!
Which I was trying to figure out if that reference made sense because obviously the Indiana Jones movies had come out by that point. But like, okay, in 1994 they had made that reference? Yeah, I guess they would have. But also, no, what I was trying to think about is, okay, would the writers have made that reference anyways? Or is that supposed to be a 90s reference? I probably thought way too hard about it, but that's all I got.
Anyways, so they drop down, and so lo and behold, Scourge and the others are there, also in the area, and they're like, the humans found it. They just waited for the humans to find it so they could do the easy work. Scourge sends one of those little spider things after Noah and Elena. And there's a very important key that we forgot. Mirage gives Noah a little piece of himself, and it fits around his wrist. It's like a cooler version of whatever the heck they gave Mark Wahlberg in number 5, which was weird and crawled over him.
Which allows him to like stand up to an attack from Optimus Prime. Like
Nemesis Prime, that's his name.
Okay, whatever. I mean, what I meant by I meant Mark Wahlberg.
Actually.
The thing turns into a sword, and he's able to deflect an attack.
Yes. And
ugh, hate that movie. Love that movie. Hate that movie.
It's kind of similar. It's something to defend himself. So they go down into the cave and they discover this ancient cave system, extremely massive. It's very almost shocking that if anyone had gone through with sonar that they didn't find it. Anyways, like any archaeological team, massive underground ancient city. Elena's ecstatic. She's like, I've always wanted to discover something. So they look for an underground temple. They're like, this is where the key would be if it is. They find a stone sarcophagus thing, open it up. Lo and behold, there are handles there for the key, but the key is not there. But there are some symbols. Elena writes them down, and they're kind of like X's and dots. And so they're like, oh, that sucks. Where could it be? Scourge's spiders show up. There's a chase scene where they are running underground. They call the Autobots for help. And so there's this scene where they're underground and the Autobots are above ground, kind of following after them. So as it turns out, the gauntlet that Mirage gave to Noah is a gun. He kills one of the spiders.
Yes.
I'm also thinking at this point, I think it might have just been our viewing. Our viewing what felt really dark.
Yeah, I don't think it's the movie. I think our projection was particularly dark.
Yeah, because I talked to my coworker who saw it, and he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. He asked where we saw it, and he was like, that's really surprising for them, for where we saw it. Anyways, so as Elena and Noah are escaping through the underground, the Autobots encounter Scourge and the others, and as they're kind of driving on these mountain roads, they start duking it out. Optimus is ready to kill Scourge. He is mad. Big
this
mad
is probably,
TM.
Like, in contrast to what I was saying earlier about, well, in
Give me your face, mad.
With the continuity of what I was saying earlier, the whole robots in disguise thing, they're in this small village in Peru in the 90s. And I'm not assuming that they don't have cars or anything, but they are all, like, Mirage is a Porsche. Like, these vehicles do not fit in this small town. This is not
really
a good
in
disguise.
disguise.
And in the moment they are in a car chase, now suddenly, like, they're just drawing attention to themselves. Like, yes, I guess being giant robots would be worse, I guess. But it's just like the whole robots in disguise thing has just totally gone out the window.
Yeah, so they start duking it out. Air Razor comes in again to kind of help rescue everyone. The fight doesn't really go anywhere. It just kind of keeps Scourge from finding Elena and Noah for a while, and they finally kind of dissipate. But there's an important scene where Scourge fends off Air Razor by shooting her, with a small disc, and it almost kind of starts to rust. And we're like, that's not good. That can't be good. They gave attention to that. So they managed to distract the Terracons for a while. I think Scourge is like, we'll find him eventually. Or because he's looking at Eraser. We'll find him. Noah and Elena show up in the middle of the jungle outside of the cave, and they're lost because they're in the middle of the Peruvian jungle. Mm-hmm. They're not having a great time. And then lo and behold, who shows up out of the jungle?
Monkey,
Ron Perlman.
Just Ron Perlman dressed as a big ape.
Optimus Primal shows up and very large and in charge, roars at him. Optimus shows up ready to duke it out. And then we kind of get these back and forth scenes where a Maximal will show up or an Autobot. So ultimately in the cast, the Autobots make it up. Stratosphere's not there. He's not there. But so we see Optimus Primal, Rhinox, who's a rhino.
Who is just there the whole movie. Like,
yeah, he doesn't do anything. Like, I mean, he fights, but
there's before and after the big climax, there's a big like hero shot they use in all the advertising where like all the characters are stepping up one at a time. Both times, Rhinox is not in the lineup, and you do not see him barely at all during the climax.
He looks really cool, though.
He's like, I know this whole thing exists to sell toys, but he is legitimately only in the movie to sell toys because he contributes nothing.
So, and then Cheetor shows up. Every time I saw Cheetor, I was just like, kitty cat, because I like cats. We have one as a supervisor, and so they're ready to duke it out and fight. And Eraser shows up, and she's like, "Well, hold on, let's not fight," and kind of explains who is who. And so we have Optimus Prime and Optimus Primal in the same scene, and Optimus Prime is like, for those of you who can't see, I just like pulled my glasses down suspiciously. And he's like, "That's weird." That's not what he says, but that's what he's thinking. And Optimus Primal is like, "I was named after one of our greatest ancestors, a great war general or whatever." And it's like, So they have like an uneasy truce. And so Optimus Prime, they kind of explain what's going on. They didn't really think Airazor was alive anymore, so it was kind of this nice reunion between the Maximals.
Our supervisor is not doing her job. She's just simply rolling around on the ground,
she's being very
sniffing
cute
a bottle.
right now. She's being very adorable. So Optimus Prime was like, "Follow us. We have a very safe place for everyone to go." I really thought I was kind of funny because so all the Autobots and Maximals are walking through the jungle like no one's business, and they're just leaving Elena and Noah to climb over boulders by themselves. It was just kind of funny to me because like no one offered to help. They're just like, suffer. Walk through the probably bug infested leaves by yourself. So they arrive at a village, and we already know Optimus doesn't really like humans. He doesn't trust them, I guess I should say. And Optimus Prime was like, "These people for hundreds of years have kept us safe and watched over us, and us them." And it's like this moment for Optimus because he's like, "That's weird." And they just show the other half of the key. They have it. The humans have it. You know, this village kind of higher in the mountains. They have pretty good relationship with the Maximals. They're like friends. They are friends. I think Optimus Prime would be a good friend. He seems very nice. Maybe it's the Ron Perlman. Ron Perlman seems very nice. Anyways, so they kind of explain it. You know, we separated the keys to keep it safe. And so there's another conversation with Elena and Noah as night falls. And Elena is telling Noah that he and Optimus are very similar. And I was kind of like, maybe. I mean, I kind of got what the movie was getting at, that they're both very similar in that they're trying to fight for their own and they're very loyal and all that. And I was like, okay, all right, this is interesting. Anyways, so night falls, they all go to sleep. And as they wake up, Elena notices Airazor is not well. Whatever Scourge shot at her is growing. And so as it comes to revealed, to be revealed. Whatever he shot her with now allows Scourge to control her, similar to Unicron and Scourge. So Airazor turns against him. It's bad. The other Terracons have found their location, so they all kind of split up, and they give Elena and Noah the key. And the second they are out of eyesight, Noah is ready to destroy this thing. Mm-hmm. And there's this
which I agree with.
And because this panicked Optimus Prime is almost like begging Noah not to destroy it. Uh-huh. And Elena is also like, don't destroy it. So we spend a very long minute or two giving evil Airazor just enough time to kidnap Elena and the key.
Noah stands down, decides not to destroy it, and Elena picks it up and is immediately snatched up by evil Airazor. Mm-hmm. And it's like, not only did I already think Noah should destroy it, he's immediately proven right. Just like within seconds.
Yeah. So, chase throughout the jungle. They end up back on Machu Picchu, I believe. And so we actually we get an emotional scene where Airazor is fighting against Scourge's control, and Optimus Primal shows up.
And actually, leading up to this, Primal just takes off through.
Oh, yeah.
So
Peter Jackson, King Kong style.
Yes, kind of, and also kind of reminiscent of like Tarzan in the '99 animated film, like going through he is going at first I was like, this is gonna end real quick. There's no way he catches up. He is like flying through the jungle. It's really cool.
I feel like all the other animals in the jungle right now are like, we gotta go, we gotta go. So they end up back, and so this kind of emotional moment between Airazor and Primal, because Airazor can kind of fight it off, but she not fully, not to the extent that everything's going to be okay. And kind of this emotional scene where Primal has to make a choice if he's going to kill Airazor or not, and she tells him it's okay to do it, so he kills her kind of humanely, I guess, if you were to ask me. Crush his ribcage.
Yes, this is a good time to talk about why I think Michelle Yeoh as Airazor
so good.
Which earlier I took way too much time. I apologize to the viewers. Way too much time going through all the actors in this movie. And I did not list what you might know Michelle Yeoh from. Most recently, she's the lead in Everything Everywhere All at Once. She's also in Shang-Chi. She's also in Crazy Rich Asians. She's also in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Phenomenal.
She's the soothsayer in Kung Fu Panda 2.
She is. I just peeked the mic.
She's phenomenal in the movie Sunshine. Great actress. Been around a long time. And
are you calling her old?
She's kind of old, but she's a veteran. Is what I'm saying.
Aged well.
She's a veteran. She's been acting since the 80s. She knows what she's doing.
Michelle, if you're listening to this, we love you.
And she also has voice performance experience as well. So she's not just a random actor they've plucked.
Look, I talk about Kung Fu Panda trilogy enough, but she was fantastic.
She is really good. She's very fun. Her voice, she's just so instantly likable when she wants to be. Like in a movie like Crazy Rich Asians, she's not.
Yeah.
But when she wants to be, and like very rarely in these live action Transformers movies, or even just Transformers in general, from what I've seen, do I actually care about a Transformer? Like Peter Cullen, obviously you love him. Like he's phenomenal. Bumblebee, because of the how much time and focus they've put on him, I've come to love him.
We still haven't seen him in season 2 at all of G1.
Yeah, that's true. Outside of that, I rarely find myself I find them funny. I find them endearing, but rarely do I actually really care about them. But there was something about Michelle Yeoh's performance that this character is so full of integrity. She's full of sadness as thinking she's the only one left on Earth. She's got this sense of duty. She felt like a real character. She sounds
very regal.
Yeah, absolutely. All these things embody the character that she is. And so when she tells, it culminates in her telling Primal to kill her. And then she tells it very matter-of-factly, like, this has to happen. Like, this is why, this is why we should be destroying the transwarp key.
It was very much do what needs to be done for the greater good.
So why are we not destroying the transwarp key? Anyways, that's my conclusion on Michelle Yeoh and this MVP of the movie.
So Airazor dies. Primal kills her. The other Autobots rolls up. Optimus was ready to kill her. Other Optimus Prime, he rolls up ready to kill. So we have this, sad moment because the other Maximals are pretty bummed. They lost Air Razor, and then they also realize Scourge has both keys, and I wrote this down because Optimus Prime is like, we should have been fighting together, and I wrote, I don't know if you want to time code this, because I feel like this is very accurate. This
Athena, you're our new editor. You can edit this out later.
Edit this out, Athena. Is Optimus's code for "damn, we fucked up." But he said it in a nice way. But also, again, kind of a very basic way as well, as we've talked about the dialogue in this film being just very bare bones. So they're like, now we need to figure out what we're gonna do because Scourge has the key, and so they go to a volcano. I do not know what the volcano is in the mountain range, and they activate the key, and it just starts building stuff out of thin air. It builds a very
being the Terracons.
Terracons. It builds kind of like a Mordor kind of style tower, which is a portal to bring Unicron through. So, and I forgot to say, as the movie is going on, we do see snippets of Unicron speaking with Scourge.
Yeah.
That's actually how we first find out it's only half of a key, because Scourge is like, I have the key, and Unicron's like, you're stupid. It's only half
we
of
skipped
it.
that scene, which brings up a good point of last week. I really gushed over the performance of Unicron in the original animated movie, and while I always want to call him Citizen Kane. Orson Welles was 5 days away from dying, very old, very overweight, did not care about Transformers, still, I think, gave an incredible performance, and also I think the writing on the original Unicron was really good. This Unicron really falls flat for me, and I think they really wanted to focus on Scourge as the main villain of this movie. It kind of, with some dialogue later in the movie where they say he'll be back, it kind of feels like maybe they're saving Unicron, because what we did not get, this is kind of jumping ahead, but before I forget, we don't get Unicron in his fully transformed mode in this movie either.
No.
So it kind of feels like they might be saving some Unicron stuff for a later movie, if that ever happens.
They're going to pull an Eternals.
Probably, yeah. Nonetheless, this Unicron just does not have the gravitas.
He's there.
And again, like I said, but the one scene where we kind of get there is when Scourge comes to Unicron with the first half of the key, thinking it's the full key, and Unicron is like pissed, like, you
and like
dumb.
Pulls him up, he's like controlling him, because then there's like a very quick scene of where they actually are on Earth, so this is all kind of like in his head in a way. He's like being astral projected back to Unicron, because the other Terracons are just standing there while Scourge looks like he's being possessed.
Yes, good call.
So
that's like the one scene where we get really any personality out of Unicron.
Yeah.
Outside of that, he's
get
just
to
kind
see
of
his
there.
eyes, though. Did you notice that?
Oh,
that was
kind of
kinda
interesting.
Weird.
That was interesting
I noticed
design
it and I was
choice.
like, So they're trying to figure out a game plan. Honestly,
and this is one of the good like character moments for Noah. I think he is the one who's like, all right, everyone squad up. I think that's literally what he says. Like he is the one. Yeah, he gets everyone together. He's the one who kind of tries to amp everyone up, which is like a good, like, if he's your main character, I think it's good to have him do that. We now have one of our favorite moments of the movie. There's only one other moment that we laughed harder, and that'll come later. They have a hologram of their plan, and they figure out that there's like little underground, or like
there's a bridge to the control where the key is.
Yes.
Right before the tower that is creating the portal.
And the bridge itself kind of has a tunnel under it that the humans can fit through. And the way it's animated in the hologram, all I can say is the way the two humans run across the bridge should have had a cartoon running sound effect.
Oh no! I was gonna pull it up.
It was so funny. Both of us, Rachel and myself,
lost it.
Died. It was so
apologies
funny.
to the other people in the theater who are probably like,
all six
why
of
do
them.
these losers think
Four
this
of them.
is funny? I hope this is it. This is what I think you were imagining.
Absolutely. You nailed it. Yes. Oh, man. It was so fast, the way they were running. Oh, it was incredible.
Was there an arrow too, or was I?
I don't think there was.
I had too many tears in my eyes from the but yeah, just the very goofy cartoon. So they create the game plan.
So I think they somehow figure out. I don't remember where this information came in. They figured out that the birds.
Bird?
No, the good one.
Air Razor.
Air Razor. Thank you. Air Razor left pretty much like a self-destruct code
Yes,
for the key.
there is a code, and
Elena has figured it out.
yes, it's all the symbols that she's written down, which I thought I had the funniest joke of the night. She's flipping through her journal. It's all these lines.
Uh-huh.
And I just said, "Is this loss?"
Uh-huh. Gonna
so-
cut that out. No, wait, I'm not the editor. Athena, cut out that lost joke.
Anyways, so
All right, we're hitting 2 hours. We got to speed this
we're
up.
hitting 2 hours. So they start the plan, and it really doesn't go that well because they start the final charge, and Unicron sends down a bunch more just these random copy and paste assets of other unnoticeable Terracons. They start the big fight. I felt like compared to a Bayformers movie, it was easier to follow along.
Yeah. Okay. So I think what you're getting at there, I think, is a narratively this movie doesn't use its characters well, but as far as structure and stakes, this movie has a lot less characters than most Transformers films, and it really helps it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can keep track of all the characters. You know what every character is.
All the bad guys were gray, so it was easy to keep track of who everyone was.
Like, they bring in a lot of the little spider guys for this final fight, but other than that, it's not overwhelming how many characters there are. In stark contrast to Transformers the movie, 1986, where there's far too many characters to count.
There's
Until the ending.
so we get to see the Maximals transform into their like
Yes.
bipedal modes, which was really cool because this is the first time we see it. They've just been in animal mode the whole time.
Yeah.
So they all start fighting. There's a weird, not like weird, but there's an almost Legolas Gimli moment between Prime and Primal, because I think Primal kills Battletrap, and Optimus makes his comment, "He was mine," or something
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
I was kind of like, that
Not
was
very good.
That was not really very Optimus Prime of you. But anyways,
The battle's still fun. There's a great. It's in the trailer, but I tried to avoid it, and I'm glad that I did. There's a great oneer.
continuous shot.
And
Film Twitter tore some poor person apart. I can't remember what account it was because they're like, "This is a great single camera movement," and all of the film bros are like, "It's not a camera."
yes, it's not as impressive as it would be in real life, but
It's very great considering, like, it was fun. We got
It's
to see
still-
a very encompassing scale of the battlefield.
good point. Exactly, you nailed it. It's a great creative choice because it has become incredibly popular to do oneers. Like, it's super common now, but they're not always used well. Like, different film techniques need purpose. You don't just do it for the sake of doing it. And they've saved it. They haven't been doing a bunch of oneers the entire movie. Because you could, especially in animation, you definitely could do a bunch of oneers.
You move that thing wherever the heck you want.
And they saved it for this one moment, and it lands so well.
So, yeah, it was really nice. So we go back to Elena and Noah. They're running in the tunnel, sans cartoon running sound. And Mirage is going to distract Scourge, who's kind of standing guard at the key. Mirage gets his butt kicked. And what
He finally uses his holograms
he
again.
does. And what I thought was really stupid moment, he gets his butt kicked and he happens to see down into the vent. And he like calls out to Noah. And I'm like, what a stupid response, because Scourge is right there. So Scourge picks up Mirage, breaks through the vent, and snatches Noah out while Elena keeps going, sends a spider after Elena. And it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, well, that was really stupid of you to do. Because, I mean, maybe he knew, but maybe he didn't know. So you just kind of ruined things. So a scene where Mirage is like covering Noah and kind of like sacrifices himself.
Yeah, pretty much
seems like dies, and then
Scourge is going to shoot at Noah.
Oh, yes.
And Mirage jumps in the way, and he's getting continuously shot in the back.
Yeah. So Mirage dies in this kind of self-sacrificial thing. It didn't really feel very emotional. And so Noah, I guess, is like trapped under there, or he's just like overwhelmed by the weight of the sheer hopelessness that is happening. Because as this is happening, we see all these storm clouds come, and Unicron is starting to come through the veil. So time is running out. Elena is working to escape the spider, which she does. She kills it with a piece like of metal that broke off as she was hanging, because she's like hanging over a pit. Summing this up, she almost loses her journal, but she doesn't. She catches it. I thought that was kind of not necessary. I think it would have been more interesting if she actually did lose it. She had to count on her brain. Anyways,
yeah.
So then there is a very long, extended scene where somehow the younger brother, Chris, is able to contact Noah through the Mirage via
a walkie-talkie.
Through the walkie-talkie.
So they had established earlier in the movie that Mirage had a walkie-talkie built into him that he got from the younger brother.
Oh, I forgot about that.
But the fact that it works on that distance is absolutely insane.
Yeah, from Peru. I don't know.
From New York to
Peru. And so there's this, honestly, in my opinion, really long, drawn-out conversation of Noah and Chris, where Chris is kind of like giving Noah a pep talk, watching the impending doom of Unicron coming through the space.
That's so true.
I really thought it was way more drawn out, and so it's kind of emotional. He's like, Noah, you can't give up now. And he's like, I don't know, man. And then Mirage is still alive somehow. And Noah is feeling reinvigorated by this pep talk from his brother. Mirage sacrifices himself. And we do get another callback to the first film. Noah gets a mech suit made out of Mirage.
Yes, which I kind of called earlier in the film.
And I remember seeing a screenshot of this, unfortunately, before it happened. So when you're like, I hope he gets a mech suit, you were talking about Chris. But I was like...
Yeah, I thought the younger brother was going to get a mech suit. But the fact that someone got a mech suit, I was pretty dang close on.
And it transforms, right? Or no?
No, I was really hoping it would, but it didn't.
They can't do that realistically. But so he gets a mech suit. He starts fighting back, is able to fight. And so, as things kind of get a little more hectic, Unicron is getting really close. Elena is trying to unlock the key, and she finally gets it unlocked. Optimus has engaged Scourge, Optimus Prime. They're fighting, and I think Scourge realizes that Elena is trying to stop the key because it's spinning very fast.
We did forget to mention in all of this when they activated the key at some point.
Oh, shoot. I forgot about that.
It was previously said that there's Energon in the mountains, and this activates all the Energon. Very similar to that scene from the final short of Star Wars Visions Volume 2, where they cleanse all the kyber crystals, and that then gives Bumblebee life, and he has a really great entrance in the battle, which is unfortunately in the trailers, but it's a nice use of the song Mama's Said Knock You Out by LL Cool J. Well,
maybe that was just diegetic.
Well, that's what's nice about it, is that that's part of Bumblebee's character. Yeah. There's a lot of needle drops in this movie of popular 90s songs that I don't think land very well. Also, I just don't know the songs. They don't really mean anything to me. But this one I thought was actually worked well in the context and made the battle scene a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. So, picked up the pace for sure, I think, after that.
Yes.
So, Scourge shoots the main thing, whatever, right after Elena's unlocked it, and destroys it. Mm-hmm. So now there is no choice but to make the decision, destroy the key. Mm-hmm. There is no decision. You destroy the key and Unicron stops, or everyone dies. So Optimus kills Scourge with lava, holds him under lava, and just keeps going. He does have a cool line. Let me show you the power of a prime. I was like, that's pretty cool. He's been saving that one. Kills Scourge, and so makes the decision. So kill Scourge. They regroup. They kind of acknowledge, things are really bad right now. And Optimus makes the decision that the best course of action is to destroy the key. And I think RC is the one that's like, well, hey, hold on, let's reevaluate. And there is no reevaluating. He tells them all to leave. He's going to destroy the key, sacrifice himself. Typical Optimus Prime. Chad move. Destroys the key. Unicron turns on the vacuum, trying to pull in as much,
sucking up everything.
Really close. Yep. Yeah, sucking up everything. And so it looks like Optimus is about to die.
It's like that scene in SpongeBob when they're all Squidward, Patrick, and Squidward are trapped in the middle, and only SpongeBob and Patrick are allowed to eat the food, and Squidward's not, and Patrick just like vacuums up the whole sandwich.
Yeah. So looks like we're about to lose Optimus. And then Noah shows back up. He's gone back, and he is able, with the strength of the mech suit, to catch a hold of something else and Optimus to keep him from flying into the maw of Unicron. And then I think, so it looks like they're both going to be lost. I think Optimus Primal shows back up, pulls him in with the big monkey strength. They all
At that moment, so what happens is the quick sequence of events is Optimus Prime
with his
stabs his axe into, and my axe, and he stabs it into this bridge. It breaks free. Noah grabs him, is attempting to pull him in. He breaks free. Primal grabs him. My hope was it just kept happening. That, like Primal would break free and RC would grab it. And it's like you have a long chain of characters.
Like the little army men from Toy Story.
Exactly, yeah.
So they manage to escape. They drive past the bridge. Everything explodes. And then the main Transformers theme from the first film, 07, starts playing as they make their majestic escape.
Yeah, we both cheered at that moment.
Woo!
That was great.
Every sin forgiven in this film. So it was pretty cool. It didn't play for very long, but it was a very nice touch. They escape. Gosh, I can't really remember what happened. They do like the very typical victory driving scene. They're driving over the fields. The Maximals are running next to them. I really don't really remember what happens until like the interview scene later.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. It pretty much hard cuts to like 6 months later or something.
Yeah.
Noah is going in for a new interview.
Looks like at a grocery store place. Or like a packaging?
Like a meat packaging like facility, like a standard, pretty standard job.
Yes.
We see on the TV that Elena is being interviewed on like 60 Minutes.
Yeah, for discovering that underground city.
So good for her.
Good for her, but she just doesn't acknowledge Noah.
She couldn't get Noah a job of some sort?
I was kind of shocked. And so he gets interviewed by this guy, and this guy keeps this older guy, and the guy keeps asking him, "Oh, what's the gap on your resume?" And Noah's like, "I worked internationally," and he keeps pressing. Mm-hmm. And so finally it's revealed the joke that has been mentioned so many times. So Noah and Chris always called each other Sonic and Tails because they were like, no names on the airway. And so Chris calls Noah by his name when he's like giving him his pep talk. And this joke finally, I guess, culminates in the man saying, no names on the airway. So somehow this man knows that Noah has been involved with the shenanigans down in Peru. Noah's trying to get some info. He's like, who are you? What do you know? And the guy is being really evasive. And so he's like, no, we know a lot about you. Lots of people really happy with what you did. You saved this planet. And so he tells him, from the thanks of the people, we will be fully paying for your brother's treatment. And this seems pretty strings unattached. You know, he's like, we're going to be doing this. We're going to be taking care of your brother. And then he goes, alternatively, along with that, we have a job offer for you. We kind of need people like you. And he changed.
Well, this moment is big. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily good, but like our reaction. I want to set the context for our reaction. He like gets up and like clicks a button and like the wall opens up. Okay, sorry, I couldn't remember the exact sequence of events.
Yeah.
He stands up, clicks a button, the wall opens. It's like this big facility, but like,
and it looks like the facility from the third movie, Dark of the Moon.
Yes.
Where all the Autobots hang out.
The movie is clearly building towards something. Like
some secret government organization that knows about the
point, like, especially ever since in a very similar scene in Iron Man 1 where it's revealed that Coulson is working for S.H.I.E.L.D., this is the part of the movie where you land your Easter egg. Right, like you put your little tease for the next movie.
Oh, it's Sector 7.
Sector 7. Which is in Bumblebee.
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. They are Sector 7
and then Bumblebee. After they team up with the Autobots, it's called Nest because now the world knows.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's like, is this Sector 7? Is it Nest? I'm thinking, is this Mech, which is a bad organization?
I'm like, the background is really out of focus, and you see some vehicles. I'm expecting to see like maybe Megatron's frozen, or some other like Optimus Prime's already there, and maybe there's some other Autobots.
He's already there. He
Like
spawned in.
just like I'm expecting this character to like I'm looking at this guy like, is this guy supposed to be someone? Like, is he a pre-existing character? Do we know this guy? Because I don't like. He's not any.
It's not familiar.
He's not from any of the Bayformers films. Like, I know the movie's like trying to like convey that something's happening here, but I'm just like confused. I'm like, none of this feels that big, but it feels like the movie's trying to. And then
he hands Noah a card.
And I don't even remember what the set. The card just says something. It doesn't. Really, it says like the guy's name. And earlier they said that I work for a secret government agency that's simply off the books. And so we're both of us are probably on the same page. We think it's Sector 7. That's
They're
almost
pretty off the books.
And then he turns the card over. And it doesn't just say the name of this supposed covert government agency. No. It has a full-on logo. There's a graphic design department for this department.
It's their marketing.
And you probably know this name. Most people know this name. You wouldn't expect it in a Transformers movie necessarily, but you know it. What is it, Rachel? G.I. Joe. Sorry, I realized I wanted to sing it.
And we lose it.
Gosh.
We bust up laughing again. Like, I hear the people behind us are reacting, but they're not reacting as like viscerally shocked as we are. We bust up laughing, chops loud, cracking up, crying at this turn of events, because that was on my last list of things.
Just like,
and we got through the weekend without that being spoiled.
Exactly. There's like the context. Yes, it's Monday. It's the movie's been out for 3.5 days, actually pretty closer to 4 days. You would think, and both of us have our feed filled with Transformers stuff.
I follow a bunch of Transformers accounts on our Twitter page,
and I didn't even ever see any posts that said spoilers, and I ignored them.
Yeah,
nothing. There's so little. I tried to find memes about this movie, and I'll mention that I have one thing about that in Meme Minute, but it's longer than a minute. Meme parsec, meme master second.
Gosh.
It's just like so. It like I don't know if I don't think it's a bad idea to cross Transformers over with some other people. We need good human characters in Transformers, and maybe using some pre-existing G.I. Joe characters could work. Oh, gross! I just saw what her memes are. And this was already in like the people were already thinking maybe this is a possibility because people thought John Cena's character was going to be a G.I. Joe character in Bumblebee, and it didn't end up being true. But like it was and both are Hasbro toys.
We just couldn't see him.
Just the insane, like it's just so insanely lazy, but also built up. The movie, like this whole like again drawn out. This whole movie drawn out to this little reveal, but it's also so goofy.
Yeah,
it just is like. So tonally all over the place. The whole sequence is tonally all over the place. It's also like not a big reveal. It's not a Shield. It's not a Avengers. Tony, Nick Fury showing up at the end of Iron Man. It's not a, at the end of Age of Ultron, ends with Captain America almost saying Avengers Assemble and he doesn't say it. It's not like that. It's not. It's more in the spectrum of other terrible. Teases like at the end of Fan Four Stick from 2015, our editor / supervisor was looking stunned at Rachel for a second.
She's got her teeth out.
It's more akin to Fan Four Stick 2015 ending with them almost saying Fantastic Four and not saying it, or like one of my favorite terrible endings is Predators. No, sorry. The Predator movie sequels are hard to remember their titles. The Predator from 2018. They had multiple different things they wanted to do with the ending. At one point, they considered having Ripley with a face hugger on her face, even though it's a Predator movie and it takes place in modern day and Ripley's from 100 years in the future. They ended up just some alien species sent them a Predator fighting mech suit. Like, it's a terrible ending. I don't know. I'm referencing a movie no one's seen. My point is, it's not executed well, but it's also incredibly surprising.
So funny.
And, like, arguably, G.I. Joe is more well-known than Transformers. It's bizarre. It's so crazy, but we loved it nonetheless.
Yeah. And we get like a half scene after like a little bit of credits or whatever, or after that, where we see Noah with Reek again, and Noah is building a very familiar looking Porsche. And Reek is like, that thing is not going to run. I don't know what you're talking about. And Noah's like, oh, yeah, no, it's going to run. And so Reek, I don't know, it's just like, this is not going to run. I don't know what you're talking about. There's kind of like this banter back and forth. And like finally, Noah's like, Mirage, what do you think? And Mirage transforms. And Reek is like stunned. And that's kind of where it ends.
Bad scene.
So it's like, oh, so Noah just casually rebuilt Mirage. Not very advanced.
Yeah, it's a weird scene to be the final scene of the movie, for sure.
We had pretty much 2 character deaths that didn't really do anything. And it wasn't even Optimus Prime.
Very good.
3 character deaths. Ape Link, Bumblebee, and Mirage. Oh, Ape Link didn't come back.
Well, and the bird lady.
Eraser, yeah.
I cannot remember her name.
Just call her Michelle.
Okay. Any final thoughts on this Transformers film?
Not like the best Transformers film. Well, I mean, not like the best. I think it's got a lot of fun moments that I do appreciate. That makes me appreciate over some of the Bayformers films. Will I watch it again? Sure. It's a fun movie. I was really surprised by how well I liked Pete Davidson as Mirage.
Fair.
I thought he did
totally.
really well, and maybe it was because it was Mirage playing a character, rather than it being like Pete Davidson on SNL. So that probably helped. Liza Koshy was fine. It's pretty obvious that she is not a voice actor. I thought she was fine in the first third. Once it really got more to like some of the combat, I was like, oh yeah, you've never voiced really, because like when she was talking, she was fine. When she was reacting to things, it was like, yeah. I mean, overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of a middling film. It ranges. I find myself thinking most of the time either, all right, or all right.
Yeah.
Like a kind of an underwhelmed all right, or oh, yeah, this is pretty okay all right.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much ranging from a 5 to a 6.5, which averages out at like a 5.7, 5.8.
Granted, you can really only go up from The Last Night and Age of Extinction.
But on the other hand, those movies are like crazy, and like I really don't like Age of Extinction, but I think Transformers 1 and 5 are crazy watchable. Like I've watched them multiple times each, especially the original one. They are fun, even not when they're necessarily being fun on purpose. They are full of memorable characters, if not necessarily good. So like this movie, I think is technically a better movie than those. But much like a lot of movies, I feel this way a lot about Spider-Man movies at this point. I felt similarly about Bumblebee. Unfortunately, movies that come later in a franchise, they really have to step up their game. Because if this was the only Transformers film, I'd probably be like super blown away.
Oh, yeah.
Because I would have never seen Transformers on screen before. But unfortunately for this film, I've seen Transformers in movies 6 times before this. You really have to do something new and creative. And it does some good stuff. It just doesn't really rise above, especially coming out the week after Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, absolutely brutal timing for them.
But it could benefit from rewatch. Maybe it's better on rewatch. I doubt it, but it's possible. But that's my final takeaway. But check it out for yourself and let us know.
Yeah, go see it.
Go see it. I'm almost always interested in what a franchise does next. I would like to see this G.I. Joe Transformers crossover, so go see this movie so we can see that.
Specifically for that.
Okay. We're at 2 hours and 24 minutes of recording. I'm hungry and tired.
That's our first without a meme minute.
Let's do your top 2 for the week.
Oh, gosh. Well, okay. I really don't have very many. I will keep them very brief, and I will save some for next week. So one of my favorite Twitter pages to follow is Crazy Moments in Transformers History. They posted on 4/24, before the movie came out, a screenshot of 2 folders on their computer. One says, memes if Rise of the Beasts is good. And the other one is memes if Rise of the Beast sucks. They retweeted this on the 10th of this month and says, Unfortunately, I didn't prepare any memes for if Rise of the Beasts is just kind of okay.
That's a great meme. I love that. That's hilarious. I particularly brought this one on because I thought you would find it very funny. It just made me think of you. Thomas the TIE Fighter has never seen such before.
You send that to me. I'm going to save that for group chats.
Which is playing off of Thomas the Tank Engine, typically with that same phrase, but instead turning him into a TIE Fighter. And so it's Thomas's face
over the TIE
photoshopped rather poorly onto a TIE Fighter.
Is
that's specifically a Rebels TIE Fighter, I think.
No, it's not, is
it?
From
the Rebels cartoon, the wings are really stubby.
It is, but I don't recognize that explosion behind it.
I think the explosion is photoshopped as well, because that's like a live action explosion.
My second one is, some people have a girlfriend, some people have a boyfriend. I have a copious amount of plastic robots, and it's a bunch of pictures of Transformers figures, and I relate to that in the Star Wars side of things.
That's great. Okay.
Show your meme. And then I forgot something we didn't talk about, and I'll just keep it super brief.
Okay. So I saw this in image form this week, and I've never seen it before. I am now realizing I did not screen the actual video of this clip from Community. So let's hope it's what I hope it is.
Oh,
and maybe I'll have to cut this out.
Oh, gosh.
We had a rebirthing ritual in my friends.
A little bit farther back. Wait.
Conflict. Agnostic. Lazy man's atheist. I'm born again. Oh! We had a rebirthing ritual in my friend's hot tub. I'm now a level 5 laser lotus in my Buddhist community.
That does not sound like Buddhism. Are you sure you're not in a cult?
Just by asking me that question, you put me back down to a level 4. You now owe me 2,000 Energon cubes. Do you know?
We watched a lot of, my best friend and I, we watched a lot
man.
of Community, and I remember we watched that episode because I knew it, and I saw it and I went,
I had never seen that before, and it showed up in my feed as an image, and just the use of Energons was very relevant to this podcast. Made me laugh.
We forgot to mention, and I won't get onto it, we didn't really have much to say, but we did watch 2 G1 episodes.
Yes.
We watched Enter the Nightbird, which is the G1 canonical entrance of Nightbird, as a human-made robot. Very interesting. They're all on YouTube.
I think it's very telling of a lot of different things that the first female Decepticon doesn't say a single word.
Ooh, don't forget, don't give me back my property. Ooh.
Yeah, it's related to this. I teased this earlier. I went digging before the podcast today for some memes about Rise of the Beast. Couldn't find anything. I went to the Transform Meme subreddit. A lot of it was about other kinds of Transformers. Pretty much, I could only find one kind of meme about Rise of the Beast outside of talking about like its Rotten Tomatoes score, which was not very interesting. And they were all sexualizing RC.
Hate that.
And whether it's done ironically or not, it's not funny. And I hated it. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
And then we watched a Decepticon Raider in King Arthur's Court, because I asked Cameron, do you want to watch it? What do you want, goofy or just normal? And Cameron said, I'm feeling goofy. And so it is a time travel episode where some of the Decepticons, namely Starscream and the Autobots and Spike, get sent back to the time of Camelot, in which we see a wizard, not Stanley Tucci, downgrade.
Boo.
And we see them in like gunpowder and have shenanigans with knights and jousting. So very, very goofy, some fun episodes, very interesting. They're on YouTube. Go watch them. But my stomach just made a noise. So yeah, it was fun. They're always goofy. I've got a few more up my sleeve that I think we should watch.
Very, very good. Did you only shared one meme, right?
No, I shared both.
Oh, you shared both? Okay.
Yeah. I'm counting this as a meme.
I see. Okay. So as always, thank you to Caleb Jacoby for our intro and outro music.
Sorry, I forgot you made our music 2 weeks ago.
Props to Rachel for our artwork and Twitter account at Rebels Robots Pod.
Props to Cameron for all of the editing that he... Oh, wait, no, sorry. Props to Athena for all of the editing
I'm giving up on the job. I'm giving it to the cat.
Props to Cameron for running our Facebook page, which he does far more consistently than I do the Twitter page.
I've been having fun. Check it out. I had some fun this week. I'm proud of some of our posts. Give us something to read on the pod. Leave a review, tweet, or DM us some memes or opinions. Give us a review of Rise of the Beast if you see it.
DM us some memes.
So this is Cameron and Rachel signing off, saying...
It cannot be.
What? It cannot be.
That's what Optimus said when Bumblebee died in Rise of the Beast.
No, it cannot be.
Looking at
I
his
was
dead
gonna
body.
say, try not to get recruited by G.I. Joe this week. In a spinoff that will probably never happen. Good night, everybody.
Good night.